Hello, how are you? If you're good, great, I'm happy. If not, I'm glad you're here. Do you ever feel like you're not good enough, even though maybe you're doing the thing that you do? The thing that you studied, your job, your art, your craft, whatever. Suddenly you feel like you're not good enough. It's not perfect. It's not up to your standards. Congratulations, that is imposter syndrome. And I have a pretty severe case of it. If we're going by the Google definition of it, there's 5 different types of imposter syndrome. Maybe you're one or more of them, and I'd like to talk a little bit about them and what the heck is wrong with me. The first type is the perfectionist. I'm not a perfectionist. However, I will spend an inordinate amount of time working on something to make it the absolute best that I can. Oftentimes, I'm tasked with creating something, sometimes in other people's images, and I will have these ideas of why I think this is the way it's supposed to be. Sometimes they tell me it's not. Sometimes we have to negotiation about what's good and what's not. But I guess I'm not a perfectionist, meaning things have to be 100%. Generally, when I'm doing things for myself, I'm a 95 percenter. I will get the project to 95% completion, and then I'm like, okay, good enough, cool. The next one is the Superman or Superwoman for imposter syndrome, and that's the person who feels like they have to do everything by themselves because otherwise it will fall short of their expectations or their high standards. I have absolutely been guilty of this one. I often, under the guise of being self sufficient or self reliant, I will take on the entire task by myself to get it done. Or if I feel like I would be inconveniencing them by asking them to help me get this particular project done or task done. I guess it's easier for me to be able to blame myself for a shortcoming rather than asking somebody to help and then they fall short of my expectation and then I have to deal with that. And I always don't like to deal with that kind of confrontation to say that somebody hasn't done a good enough job. I'm not really good at that, I don't think. People have told me that. The next kind of imposter syndrome is the genius, the natural genius. Now, I don't think I'm a natural genius about anything. It's really about how quickly I can pick up something and be proficient at it. And that's most things. I am what I would consider somewhat intelligent and somewhat dexterous. So if somebody has a task for me to do and I have no idea how to do it, I mean, it might take me a little bit of time to learn how to do it, but it only takes me a little bit of time. And then I consider myself proficient enough to do the task. Then, if I'm getting to some plateau where I don't get better, I quickly lose interest in that thing. Having these high standards for yourself and not meeting them makes you have to deal with the issue of how do you discipline yourself to get better to a point where you feel like you're improving, or do you just give up and say, this isn't for me? And I guess I'm of the personality type who gives up and moves on to something else that I am going to continue to improve with. There's another type of imposter syndrome called the soloist. I feel like this is really, really kind of the same as the Superman, Superwoman, except for the fact that the soloist is somebody who feels that if they can't do the entire job by themselves, then they are somehow a failure. I don't necessarily have that so much as I just the feeling that I would be inconveniencing others to do such a simple task. But the soloist in me said, if I can't do this job by myself, then it might be time to reconsider what I'm capable of doing. And I don't think I'm ready to face that just yet. And then the last type of imposter syndrome is the expert. And the expert is somebody who constantly is trying to learn more about their particular subject or particular discipline. It's never, they can never know enough. They can never be knowledgeable enough about something. And if somebody comes up to them with a question or they run into a brick wall, then all of a sudden they feel like they're a fraud, that all of this is just faking it. And all the time and effort that they put into this thing is for naught. Sometimes you can even feel shame when somebody comes to you and asks you for your opinion on something, and then you might not feel like you know 100% of what you're talking about because you don't have all the information about that subject. No one can ever have all the information on a subject. So when you have imposter syndrome at that point, that's when things get weird, when you feel like you should know this, but you don't. So do you know anything? I think imposter syndrome, you're pretty well aware of who you are and what you're doing. You just lose the confidence in yourself. And you have no idea why anybody would be asking you for your opinion or for your help or for your expertise on anything. And that is more of an internal prison, because you may be perfectly skilled at something and you may be perfectly wonderful to be around. And that's why somebody's asking you to help them. But something inside of you says, I can't, I, I just, there's got to be somebody else who's better, who's more appropriate for your task or for your project. And you probably miss out on a lot of opportunities that you would have fit in perfectly with. So I don't know what the treatment is for imposter syndrome. I don't know, because I'm right in the middle of it. I'm not really sure what to do. I've been offered an opportunity to do what I like to do and get paid for in a country that I would really like to visit. And my first instinct was to say no to that opportunity. What is wrong with me? I think I'm going to revisit that, rethink it, and figure out a way to say yes and stick it through. And I'm almost certain that I will be happy that I did this. This has happened many, many times where I've not wanted to do something. I've looked at a commitment as a burden. They have been anxiety stressors up until the actual thing. And then I do the thing and it makes me feel good because I know what I'm doing. And then afterwards, I have no idea why I was concerned with it in the first place. I have no idea why I was anxious or worried or any of that. And I feel good about it. I just don't understand why I can't remember that I am pretty good at what I do and I can do it. I am qualified. I do have the skill sets and the experience, and I'm not going to screw up. If I could just know that before the doubt and the fear creep in. I wish that. I wish I could figure that out. I'll see you tomorrow.